Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Bald Up Genetics. My name is Lloyd, and if you like reptiles, then this channel is for you. Today, I want to do something a little different. I want to talk to you about owning large snakes. There's a lot of people that are getting into the hobby. They're seeing these nice, cute little Burmese and reticulated pythons at reptile shows, and sometimes they may not realize how big they get. So today's video are going to be the 5 things that you should think about before owning a large snake. So let's get into this video. Introduce you to Mella. This is our female albino Burmese python. She's over 10 feet long. She's about 20 years old, a little over 20 years old. She came to us in her retirement years. She used to be with a zoo that had her as an animal ambassador, and they decided to retire from those programs. I've known her previously when she was younger and a lot smaller, so I know what she's like. So I asked if I could take care of her in her golden years, and they were more than happy. So she's come over here to Bald Up Genetics with us, and today she's going to be our model.
So the first thing on the list, size. You're going to get a snake someday that's going to be 10, 15, maybe even 20 feet long. You need to know what you're getting into. You need to know how big they're going to get and what their attitudes are going to be like, so you can work with them safely. Snakes at this size, they can do some damage to you.
The second thing to consider is the size of the enclosure for your large snake. Of a decent size for the length of your snake. This enclosure you see behind me, it's just a portable one. It's one that she came with. 8 feet long, it's 4 feet wide, it's 4 feet tall. So you know, as you can see, there's a little tub. She can get some water. She has a couple different carpets that we put in for her. She has a heat source up here. There's a lot of land space. We're going to put a second level in here for her to get up on, so she's just not on the floor all the time. But again, this is just temporary. This is what she came with. We're building her a nice habitat to go into, and you guys will actually get to see all that happen. If you live in a tiny apartment, you don't want a 12-foot, 15, 20-foot snake in a small apartment. So you have to think about, if you're going to own a large snake for a very long period of time, you got to think about they also need a large space to live in. All right, so that brings us to the third thing that we should be thinking about when it comes to owning a large snake. Now, of course, this is a ball python, and what I'm doing with this one is just showing you a lot of places they don't have regulations against snakes, owning snakes, like this ball python, but they do have regulations on the size of that snake in some states and some counties. So you need to look into your local ordinances, either your county, the city you live in, even the state you live in. For instance, as we all know, Florida, it's illegal to own Burmese and reticulated pythons in the state of Florida. Other states, they may not regulate those species, but they might do the size. I know, for instance, in some areas that I've lived before, near cities and even some of the counties, it was illegal to have a snake over 6 feet long. Didn't care what species it was. It was just that's what they had on their town ordinance, was any snake over 6 feet long is prohibited. So look into your city, county, and state laws before you get a Burmese or reticulated python or rock python that you want. Any large snake, even an indigo snake that gets over 6 feet might be illegal in the area that you live in. So again, the third thing you need to think about is looking into the local laws and the state laws of that species that you want to keep. All right, so then that brings us to number 4 that you should be thinking about: prey size. You know, when your snake is going to be small, something like this, you know, a small mouse, small rat, once a week, that's fine. Something this size, you know you can buy a bunch of these at once. You can store them in your freezer when they're small, but we have to think about when they start getting big. You know, eventually they're going to be going up to large rats, jumbo rats, and that, of course, is going to increase the price on what you're feeding out. And at this size, they're still probably on a couple of rats, maybe every couple weeks. Again, prey size is going up, cost is going to be going up. and your freezer space is going to start dwindling. So you got to start thinking about stuff like this. Eventually you're going to go to something like a rabbit or a small pig. Now something this size is going to of course cost you a lot more money. Good thing is when you have a snake that's over 8 feet long, you know, anywhere between 8 feet and 18 feet, you're going to typically be feeding it once, maybe twice a month. But you have larger prey items that you have to feed out, and the cost goes up dramatically with that, plus the freezer space that you have for all this. So you got to put that cost factor into it. So yes, nice big snake that you have, but also you have to start thinking about the price point of the prey items that you're going to have to buy for it, and then how often are you going to feed it, because the thing is, you can't feed it rats for something that's over 10 feet. That's not going to be, you know, that's not practical to feeding to that snake. The other thing is too, is you need to vary the sizes. So for me personally, I'll feed one large prey item, then I'll feed maybe 2 smaller prey items later on, just to vary the diet and also the prey size that I have for her. But the fourth thing is to remember the cost of your food is going to go up a little bit. Freezer space is going to start to dwindle because of the size of the prey items to your large snake. All right guys, so before we get to the last subject, you can watch Mello eat that rabbit that you saw earlier. So the fifth and final thing is responsibility. You have to have responsibility for owning one of these large snakes. You know, you're gonna have something that's gonna be 10 feet or more in length. You're gonna have it for several decades. It is your responsibility for the care and well-being of that animal. You get to a point where all of a sudden you decide, oh, I don't want it because it's too big, it's too much of a problem. Zoos aren't going to take that snake. Zoos don't take large snakes from individuals. Pet stores normally won't take one, and I know animal shelters won't take large snakes either. So you have to know you're in it for the long haul when it comes to owning one of these animals. And that's the 5 things that I wanted everybody to think about. You know, responsibility for ownership of one of these animals, because of a lot of, you know, bad press lately that's in the news with people that are owning these large snakes, and stuff happens. The care for them, the housing, and just the overall size of these snakes. But those are the 5 things that I really wanted to touch upon when owning one of these very large snakes. But enjoy the rest of the feeding, and we'll wrap all this up in a minute. Alright everybody, that's a wrap for this video. Quickly again, on the subject of this video, owning a large snake. Again, everything is just my opinion. But if you're going to take on the responsibility of owning a large snake, you need to make sure you're taking proper care of it. Good size enclosure, appropriate meals, know your state laws, local and state. But owning a large snake is different than owning a corn snake, even a ball python. It's in a category all of its own. So if you're doing it, great. Enjoy, because I know I am. I know we're having fun with Mello here at Balled Up Genetics. I'm not going to get a ton of large snakes, but this is a special case. Again, I've known this animal, so in her retirement years, I wanted to be able to be the one to take care of her. But again, if you guys can do me a favor, share this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps out the algorithm, makes this channel grow. Turn on that post notification bell so every time we upload a video, you're going to be informed. If you haven't subscribed yet, why haven't you? Simple button down below, push it, it's all done. Doesn't cost you anything. So please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Tell everybody else about this channel. We can make this channel grow even more. Until the next video, Take care, and we'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.